Hello and welcome to Fernbank Science Center's The Sky This Week for January 10th through 16th, 2021. My name is April Witt. I'm one of the astronomers with the Science Center. This week we get a new moon, some bright planets in the early evening and early morning skies, and some of the bright stars of winter are up in the evening as well. Starting the beginning of the week, the 10th, around 6:30, literally just as the sun is going down, face the south part of the sky. Put your right shoulder toward the direction that the sun set, and just literally as the sun is going down, there are three bright planets that make a tiny triangle low on the southwestern horizon. You probably remember back in December the 21st, the two bright planets Jupiter and Saturn were pretty close together on the night sky. They're joined now by the tiny planet Mercury, closest planet to the sun for us in our solar system. And over the next few days, Mercury is going to move pretty quickly along its orbit and be higher in the sky than the big planets are. Pretty Mars is still up there in the early evening sky as well, nice and bright. Then just before the sun comes up the next morning, keep an eye out for our morning star, the planet Venus, and a very thin old moon, a tiny crescent right near Venus on the early morning sky toward the east. So if your right shoulder was toward the west and you were facing south, turn to your left and you'll be facing east where the sun appears to rise, and that's where Venus will be. If you have a really flat eastern horizon and a nice clear sky, that'll be a pretty pairing to look for. In the evening, we've got bright stars, the brightest ones we can see all year long from here in the Atlanta area anyway. For us, they're up during the winter time. Those four bright stars that make a big rectangle in the sky are the constellation of Orion, the hunter, Betelgeuse in one shoulder, a belt of three stars, little hunting knife on one side, his knees down here. Those three stars for the belt point down toward the horizon, and the brightest star we can see in the night sky, the star Sirius. Follow the belt in the opposite direction. It'll take you up to the reddish colored star Aldebaran, the eye of Taurus, the bull. That V shape is supposed to be his face. Long horns sticking off this way. Aldebaran is not that far away from Mars. Both reddish spots on the sky, pretty bright. Stars and planets fun to look for in the evening sky. A little later at night, now face the north part of the sky. About halfway up, there's a zigzag of stars. If you hold one arm straight out in front of you and spread out your fingers as wide as they'll go, that's about the width that this zigzag W of Cassiopeia, the queen, is. And you can use that middle star in Cassiopeia to find the North Star, Polaris. Most of us use the cup of the Big Dipper to do that, but we're just now getting to the part of the year where the Big Dipper is starting to be visible in the evening sky. So, bright star in the center of Cassiopeia points toward the North Star, or the two pointers on the bowl of the Big Dipper point to the North Star. It's about halfway between those two patterns. Sunset again on the 14th. Jupiter's just dipped below the horizon, and Mercury is already a little higher on the sky, and the moon, it's gone through its new phase on the 12th, is starting around on its orbit where it's just a thin waxing crescent. Now we'll see it in the evening sky just after the sun goes down. Toward the beginning of the month, of the week rather, it's in the early morning sky with Venus. Now it's in the early evening sky with Jupiter. But just a day later, the moon has moved a good bit away from where Mercury is now. It's a little bit higher on the sky, a nice little crescent. And a day, that same day, look again the next night and the moon has moved along its orbit and is now a good bit farther away from where Mercury is. Again, this is in the southwest part of the sky, just as the sun is going down. There's a bright star in that area of the sky as well. Its name is Fomolo. It's about 25 light years away from the Earth. The light that comes into our eyes on that date left 25 years ago, back in 1995. Back then, Bill Clinton was the president. The Oklahoma City bombing happened. Hurricane Opal smashed into Atlanta and left a lot of rain and debris. The Dow Industrials got above 5,000 for the first time, and Forrest Gump was the best picture for that year. Fomolo is part of the constellation of the Southern Fish, Pisces Australis. If you have a good imagination and connect up dots, you can get a southern fish, or maybe even something sort of fish-looking heading up into the southwestern part of the sky. Thanks very much for listening this week. Do check our website, www.fernbank.edu. Keep an eye on the sky if it's clear. Thanks again for listening. Come back and see us again soon. Have a great week.